Inside Michigan Basketball is presented by Meyer.
Welcome to another edition of Inside Michigan Basketball. We are joined by Dusty May right off the top, and we're going to jump right into this big game on Sunday, Dusty. First of all, some travel issues getting back from Iowa due to the intense fog and weather here in Michigan. How'd you guys handle that little pivot?
Well, we did the best we could. We stayed another night in Iowa City, and it's always more enjoyable after a win. We got up the next morning, we flew back. Well, there's a slight delay, and then we ended up flying to Cleveland and hanging around the Cleveland airport for a while on the tarmac, and then they told us then we could fly to Toledo. So eventually we made it to Toledo, caught a bus, and made it back yesterday evening. And so fortunately we have a group, they don't make any excuses, very similar to the Duke travel. We got in at 1:32 a.m. and had an early shoot around, and it's just you move to the next thing, but we need to be ready to play tomorrow.
What will it take for you guys to get the season sweep of the Spartans?
Much like anytime you're preparing for Michigan State, it's going to take your team doing a great job on the glass, first and foremost, and then your transition defense. If you can eliminate those easy baskets, then you put yourself in position to win. And against them in game one, we gave them many too many points off of our turnovers.
You had the success up there in East Lansing. How much do you lean on that success? What do you take from that? And how much of it is hit the reset button because you know they're going to make some changes, and they're playing so well right now?
Yeah, obviously it's very telling when you play an opponent the first time around, because this time of year you're not going to change that much. Obviously we look different for about 16-18 minutes a game because of LJ, but other than that we're pretty much the same team. We're better in some areas, and then there's other times when teams expose certain things about your roster and you have to fix those things. But for the most part it's going to be the same as before. Who executes better, who comes up with the 50-50 basketballs, and who manages to stay composed in a very heated environment.
There was a narrative before that first meeting that some of the Michigan guys haven't been here long, they don't know as much about this rivalry. How much of your guys, especially the newer guys, embrace this rivalry?
Well, I think the rivalry is more for the fans and the students and everyone else. We felt like we embraced the rivalry too much last year. And when you're playing a basketball game, the 40 minutes of play and execution are much more important than all the periphery stuff. So obviously we felt great walking out of Breslin with the win, being able to quiet their crowd. But we need to be much more locked in on the scouting report, on our responsibilities, than all the other stuff. And then when it's over, hopefully we're in position to enjoy the senior night victory.
A chance to go 19-1. How much of you guys maybe acknowledged the historical things that have been going on this year, knowing there's far bigger goals out there?
Very little. We mention it because it is something that we can rally around, and we do think each night there's something that can get us refocused, because you don't want to get distracted by whatever's going on. And so we refer to it, and maybe it gives a few of the guys a jolt that they want to do something that hasn't been done in a long time or ever. And so if it motivates one or two guys, it's worth saying, but it's not a big part of what we're talking about on a daily basis.
Still to come, a perfect Big Ten road record. You'll see how a Wolverine veteran keeps his body fit, and the women battle at the Big Ten tournament. Inside Michigan Basketball is brought to you by Meyer, proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest, and by Michigan Medicine. There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer.
First undefeated team in 50 years. 50 years, and probably never again, fellas. I don't know how good it'll be next year. I'd like to do it again, but probably the odds say that another team coming in here going undefeated on the road is probably never going to happen again with the parity of college basketball. First undefeated road team in 50 years. And fellas, are we going to get court storm, fellas?
Hell no.
The Wolverines looking to post a perfect 10-0 Big Ten road slate. The last team to run the table as such, Indiana in 1976. First half, hustle bucket for the Wolverines. Yaxel Lendeborg fetches an offensive rebound, and Rez Johnson Jr. bangs a left wing three. More hustle. Take a look at this. Lendeborg chases down an Iowa fast break. Check out the closing speed.
Here comes a jam attempt by Howard and a chase down block from Yax. How did Yax get there?
1 of 5 Michigan blocks on the night. This game was tight, and the Hawkeyes closed the half strong. The Big Ten's third leading scorer, Bennett Sturtz, drains back-to-back long balls in the waning moments. It was all square, 30-30 at the break. Second half, Roddy Gale Jr. making things happen. The senior gets the steal and takes it all the way for the score to put him up 7. With 6 and change to play, Rez posts up and goes into gladiator mode.
Lob up, caught by Rez, low on the left, double team comes, banks anyway, scores, counted a foul!
He added the freebie to put Michigan up by 10. But the Hawkeyes were tough to shake. Cam Manyow caps an 11-1 answer with an absolute rim rattler, and the game was tied at 64. The two sides traded buckets, and then the Wolverines went up for good with 43 seconds to go.
Michigan alley-oop, Cadeau up toward Mara, laid it up and in as he tumbled to the ground. Timeout, Dusty May in Michigan.
It was 68-66. Same score, 24 seconds on the clock. This might be the play of the night.
Crosses over left point, zigzags into the paint, banks it up there, no. Rebound loose, fought for Manyow, grabbed it, and Gale blocked his putback attempt. Gale comes up with a basketball, and he comes up with a timeout.
Gale Jr., who did a bit of everything, swats it away. Roddy told us he just had to make a play and use his athleticism. Michigan salted it away from there. The three bigs combined for 46 points and 24 rebounds. 71-68 the final as the Wolverines outlast the Hawkeyes in Iowa City.
We really lean on our togetherness and our composure. You know, we have a lot of mature guys in this group. Even like our freshman, Trey McKinney, is a super mature dude, man. So when things start getting rough for us and we feel like some calls aren't going our way, you know, we just try our best to lean on each other. You know, some of us made some frustrating plays today, but, you know, we, like I said, we stuck together and pulled it out then.
How fun is it to win in this kind of environment?
You know, it's great. On the road, first team in 50 years to go undefeated on the road. I think that's very impressive, you know, for our team.
When you think about that, the 10-0 on the road, I don't know, what kind of just pops in your head? Like, what kind of takes over your thought process when you hear that stat, 50 years?
Impressive. It's impressive, very impressive. It's shocking to be that team to do it, go undefeated on the road, but it says a lot about us, and it will be worked on in the summer, you know.
It means everything for me. Just coming in the summer at a group of guys with just one goal of winning a Big Ten championship and a national championship, and just kind of see the progress that we made and be able to do something really special, something I haven't done here in, 50-plus years, and probably will never happen again. So just to kind of cement our legacy into the program, into the conference, to the world.
Up next, we check in once again with Coach May.
Your thoughts on facing State for the final time in the regular season, your thoughts on Senior Day, and your thoughts on trying to get a season sweep of them?
This means everything for me. Just kind of looking back in hindsight of, you know, the kid that I grew up to be, looking at myself now being a 22-year-old senior, playing for Michigan and playing against, you know, the rival school on senior night and being able, with so much on the line, being able to go for the sweep, being able to be, you know, have the best record in Big Ten history. So just being able to, you know, do all that, like, kind of gets me emotional a little bit, just kind of thinking about it. But it's just an amazing experience. I feel like I'm blessed to be a part of this program and everybody.
Can you give me a thought on playing State, trying to get a sweep, and, you know, what you're looking forward to on Sunday afternoon?
Sending our seniors out the right way. That's very important, and finishing up the Big Ten play, making sure we get the win.
The rematch Sunday, just your thoughts on playing State again and trying to get that sweep?
Super excited for that. I know this is going to be the loudest Chrysler has been all year, so I'm excited to play in that environment and hopefully be the best Big Ten team ever.
Back again with head coach Dusty May. Dusty, Sunday is Senior Day. This is a unique class. You got 5-year guys like Will, 1-year guys like Yaxel. Your son's on the team. What does this class mean to you, and what does Senior Day mean in the bigger and broader picture?
Well, each team has its own unique feel, and obviously inheriting a couple players like Will and Nimari, and to see them stay the course, graduate, and finish their eligibility here is pretty special. And those guys will be part of Michigan basketball forever, much like Yax and Charlie, who are here in shorter periods. Charlie obviously started at UCF, and having the opportunity to join us here, he's been very valuable in practice and on scout team and things like that. And then obviously Yaxel, if he doesn't feel a part of Michigan basketball, then I don't know how you would. Everyone has a different path in this sport. You know, rarely in the NBA do players play 20 years with one franchise like they used to. It's just it's a different era, and we embrace those who have poured in and contributed to this program. And those guys, every senior, our managers and players that walk on that court tomorrow after the game will be people that left this place better than they found it.
Can you talk about the way this team has supported and embraced LJ Cason coming off the injury against Illinois, and just how uplifting it appears to be? Before the Iowa game, a bunch of them wore his jersey. It was just a really cool, special thing to see. And the guy needs that at this time, does he not?
Yeah, it is. First of all, the outflow of support from the Michigan fans made LJ feel really good about who he's becoming and his contributions to the team. And then as we were leaving for Iowa, we were getting on the bus, and it's a couple minutes before we were supposed to leave, and our guys are always on time, and it was looking like they were cutting it close, and so I'm getting worried, like, hey, what happened? Where is everyone? They said, oh, they ran to the bookstore. They ran to the gift shop in Chrysler, and I thought, okay, that's strange before game. And they came running out to make it on time, and they all had LJ's jerseys. And at that point, I thought, wow, what a really nice gesture for a group of guys, because in this society, most people are so self-centered and worried about themselves. They just move on to what they're thinking about. And for our guys to do that as a sign of solidarity to support LJ was really cool. And one of the many, many meaningful gestures our guys have given each other this year.
While we're talking about LJ, could you just briefly talk about moving on without him and what it means and how you handle that?
Yeah, it's a new challenge. And throughout the season, injuries, illness, whatever the case, things always come up, and we have to be in position to problem solve, and crisis management is a big part of our job, and that's probably the one position we couldn't afford to lose. But luckily, Trey McKinney and Roddy and Nimari and Yax and even Rez's decision-making and playmaking, we've got so many different options and we don't need one guy to do what LJ did, but we need everyone to pull their own weight to get closer to that. And it's a great opportunity for those other guys, because LJ was obviously playing the best basketball of his career.
Coach, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
When we return, off-the-court care with the Wolverine veteran.
Welcome back. You know, there's so much off the court that goes into being a college basketball player. Rest, nutrition, pre and post routines. We'll take a look at how a Wolverine senior keeps his body in tip-top shape.
At this level, off-the-court training becomes indispensable. Taking care of one's body is critical to an athlete's success.
It's something that I've taken really seriously throughout the course of my basketball career, and it's gotten better each and every year as I learn more about my body, learn more about the things that I can improve on, and just maximize my longevity.
Walking into college hoops, Burnett says he thought he was ahead of the curve, but quickly learned otherwise.
6 years in college basketball, it's like two total sides of the thing, and so I feel smarter, I feel more intelligent, and I feel like I can also help others who, especially freshmen coming in looking to, have good habits and have discipline.
Does it get more and more difficult as you get older? I mean, you're a young guy.
Yeah.
But you've been through a lot of battles. Does it get harder the older you get?
Yeah, it definitely gets harder the older you get. I remember talking to Will about it, that the same routine that we had 3 years ago that got us warm in 2 minutes, it doesn't work anymore.
His one go-to activity?
The gotta do it is foam rolling. I think that's like most necessary, especially like as I found out, helping the fascia within your legs and your upper body, your back especially, that's like the center of everything.
And the one thing he has, ironically enough, warmed up to, the cold tub.
But I've honestly grown fond of it now. I remember yesterday when I got in the cold tub. At this point, it's every day or like 6 days a week. So I got in the cold tub yesterday. I'm like, oh yeah, this feels great.
If he skimps or is running late from class, he senses it.
I notice a big difference on the court if I don't go through it. I feel not groggy, but a little bit out of touch with my body. It feels like I'm a step slow. And the sharp movements that I can make at a high level, it's only like 75% there if I'm not doing my full routine.
This entire process fits into a holistic approach to training.
When it comes to the routine, I feel great doing it. Like, I enjoy my routine. It's not only for my body, but it's also for my mind. It helps me to be sharp mentally as well. So when I'm out there feeling physically and mentally sharp, I think it's a huge game changer.
Burnett goes in, jams it down again.
Nimari is a real pro in everything he does, and he's a great role model for the younger players on the team. After the break, we'll check in with the women at the Big Ten tournament in downtown Indianapolis.
For the fourth time in program history, two Wolverines earned consensus first-team All-Big Ten honors. Sophomore Olivia Olson has scored in double figures in all 29 games this season and is fifth in the conference at 20 points per game. She does it all for the 8th-ranked Wolverines.
She's positionless. She plays every spot 1 to 5, and whatever her matchup is, we try to take advantage of. So if she has a small matchup, we'll put her in the post. If she has a big matchup, we'll put her off a ball screen. I mean, she just has the capability of shooting threes, posting up. Her mid-range is one of the best in the country. And she rebounds, she defends, she has a toughness, she has an edge, but she's absolutely the hardest worker as well.
Silas Swords earned first-team honors after being named second team a season ago. The sophomore has scored in double digits in 22 of the 28 games she's played and leads Michigan with 68 three-pointers. Sila is averaging 15 points per outing.
Silas Swords makes every clutch shot. She made one in the Ohio State game at the end of the game. You put the ball in her hands and she is going to make something special happen. I think she made it with the national team this summer as well.
Brooke Quarles-Daniels was named to the All-Defensive team. Mila Holloway was honorable mention. All 4 players very deserving.
Third-seeded Michigan opened Big Ten tournament play Friday in Indianapolis against 11th seed Oregon. The Wolverines never trailed, using balanced scoring to win their quarterfinal game by 22 points, 80-58. Michigan had 4 players score in double figures. Silas Swords led the way with 17 points and 8 rebounds. Olivia Olson finished with 16 points and 6 boards. Ashley Sofolkanik added 14 points, and Kendall Dudley picked up an even 10. Mila Holloway just missed her first career double-double, going for 9 points and 10 assists. Michigan advanced to the semifinals for the 3rd consecutive year. Number 2 seed Iowa was next, and the Hawkeyes dominated early. Michigan had 4 first-quarter turnovers and just 2 field goals. They trailed 13-4 after the first 10. Silas Swords hit back-to-back three-pointers to start the second, 6 of her 9, and the Wolverines were within just 3 points.
Swords drains another. She is catching fire for the Wolverines.
She and Olivia Olson scored 14 of Michigan's first 16 as the Wolverines kept it close.
Look at the hustle on the floor. Michigan with it.
March Madness.
Quarles-Daniels slices her way inside, finds Olson with the lefty lay-in.
But another cold shooting streak helped the Hawkeyes take a 28-22 lead at the break. The Wolverines scored the first 2 buckets of the 3rd quarter to pull within a pair.
Batted right back into the hands of Olson.
Just volleyball or basketball?
Ashley Sofolkanik with the finish inside.
Then Mila Holloway gave Michigan its first lead.
Holloway streaking to the rim and one.
The three-point play put the Maize and Blue on top. They led 36-35 at the end of 3. Holloway and Olson both finished with 10 points. Iowa began the 4th quarter strong, outscoring Michigan 15-2 to put the game away. Ava Hayden clocked in with 16. Hannah Sulky powered home 13, and Chit Chat Wright added 13 as well, as the Hawkeyes ran their win streak to 7 straight over the Wolverines, 59-42 the final from downtown Indianapolis.
The women now wait for Selection Sunday, March 15th. Don't forget, they'll host during the first round. The men's Big Ten tournament is this week in Chicago. The Wolverines will tip off at the United Center Friday at noon in a quarterfinal game. We'll break it down for you next week on Inside Michigan Basketball. See you then.
Inside Michigan Basketball is brought to you by Meijer, proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest, and by Michigan Medicine. There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer.